Dude, I'm so stoked, man. Thank you for fucking doing this, man. Thanks for encouraging this for
Yeah.
me. I'm so fired up about this next phase and chapter of life. And this is a creative outlet that I've always wanted to like pursue, or at least for the last couple of years. Thank you for encouraging me to do it, man.
No
I
problem.
appreciate
Yeah.
you. And I'm fucking beyond pumped to have you as the first motherfucking guest
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
Stupid Gap podcast. I gotta say the name, you know?
Yes, yeah. You
See
got to
how it
start it
flows on
off
the
somehow.
lips.
Yeah.
But
It's really cool, and I think that this is something that I would say you're probably at the right time to start it as well, based on your life experience and what you've done. Whereas before starting a podcast, you might have ran out of material, not learned as much like in your life and in terms of how you've grown individually. So you're probably at the right point to get started and to figure it out and just kind of see where it takes you. So, and I would say you're a good conversationalist as well.
I thank you. I appreciate that. Like, I agree with you. I think, yeah, until very recently, I really didn't feel that comfortable fucking talking to people.
Mm.
Like, more than what, more than like pleasantries and shit, you know? Like, I find that I'm much more curious about people now.
Mm.
Like, just, I was always curious about people, but I never really voiced it. And so now I feel very comfortable just like asking people random questions and shit.
Yeah.
And it's been something that I've like with my self-awareness that I've witnessed in myself and that I really like that I'm developing,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Cause like I would see people and even you, man, like fucking you're an outgoing dude, you know? And at least I feel you are. And I was always like envious of people that could just like walk into a fucking, hey, what's going on, and fucking do the thing. And so I'm like developing that muscle,
Yeah.
and I think it's fucking cool. Have you always been that way? Like comfortable talking to people and shit?
Yeah, I would probably say that I mean, I would have to ask people that have known me in the past, but I would say about myself, I probably used to be more outgoing than I am right now.
Really?
Yeah, and that's because as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized that a lot of people don't give a shit about you. They don't care what you're doing, or they don't care what you look like, what you're wearing, or who you are, and kind of stuff. So maybe before I probably felt a need to be more outgoing to get reassurance or desire from people or the feeling of being wanted. And then so maybe I was more outgoing. Not that it was artificial or anything. It was truly genuine. But then as I've gotten older, I realized that it's okay to have a tight circle and to not want to maybe expand that to the greatest degree. It's okay to just have your people and I try to also maybe I make my outgoing nature just with my friends and not with strangers
Right.
and stuff. And this is kind of something that we were talking about last night and lessons that I've learned from other people is that you want to make new friends and you want to have good conversation with people and stuff, but like sometimes in life there's just I don't have any room for new friends. I enjoy talking to people and everything and I want to hear people's stories and stuff, but sometimes it takes so much energy out of you to do that with like a stranger or something. Yeah, I mean to answer your question, yeah, I guess I've always been pretty outgoing, but maybe I've tamed it down or toned it down a little bit, and especially with my ego too. I would say I have tried to I don't know take that down a couple notches.
Do you think that like you did that intentionally, or do you think that that was just like the natural flow of your personality and like your development? Does that make sense?
In terms of my outgoingness, or
Yeah, like I guess was there ever a point in your life when you made a conscious decision to like not have small talk with people? or did it just naturally happen?
Hmm. I can't think of a specific time or an event. I think it just naturally happened for me in like realizing that, and maybe it's through reading books or different interactions or how I've reflected upon relationships and conversations and like where things have gotten me, that I kind of understand that like the small talk with most people is not as valuable to me as small talk is with my friends or my family. And but one time, I mean, a story where I think that this can, like small talk with a stranger, might have been beneficial. I was actually on a ski trip, and I smell a guy smoking a cigar, you know, and so I'm like, I'm gonna go find out where this guy with the cigar is. You know, it smells nice, and I wanted to see like, did he get the cigar at the bar? Yeah. Can I buy one? I want to smoke a cigar up here. Go up, talk to this guy. Hey man, smoke a cigar? And he's like, yeah. And then I asked him like what he was smoking and stuff, and then we talked a little bit about that. And so a little bit of small talk. Of course, I'm the stranger that's going up and bothering this guy.
You're initiating the interaction.
Yeah, and maybe that's a little bit of my outgoingness, I guess. Exactly. Yeah, it's just like and I know a little bit about cigars, like enough to hold a decent conversation. Anyways, to fast forward, hey, did you get the cigar at the bar? And he's like, no, I brought it myself. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, man. You know, and then I don't know, I go and leave him alone, and I'm like, hey, enjoy the cigar. I leave him alone. He comes up to me later, and he goes, hey, man, I got another cigar. You want it? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, I want it. Yeah. And what was funny is that Conrad and the rest of the guys that were a part of the ski trip, they didn't know where I went. Like, I just went and explored and found this guy.
Yeah, you were on an adventure.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
On an adventure. Do it for the story. It's my mantra. But I went and yeah, he found me, gave me another cigar, and then Conrad and all the guys, they found me. Yeah. And I'm sitting here smoking a cigar like, ah.
Did you smoke a cigar with the dude? Like, did he, was he still smoking it?
Yeah.
So you guys were just fucking hanging out?
I mean, this dude had bitches around him too as well. Like, that was another thing that I was like, man, this guy is doing it. He was in like a suit.
Oh, so you think he like had money and he was like fucking?
Possibly either that or he was faking it. I don't know, but he had the right people around him.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't interested in anybody that was around him.
Yeah.
I was interested in the guy and him smoking a cigar.
Yeah, right.
But I would say that's a situation where my outgoingness and me being a stranger benefited me and was probably counterintuitive to my own rule that I follow, and that like small talk with most people doesn't really matter.
Was there like anything that went through your head that was like, this guy's too busy, or you don't want to talk to me, or anything like that? Or were you just like, I'm gonna go fucking talk to this guy? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was, I knew this guy wasn't going to shut me down. At the very minimum, he was going to say like, this is my cigar from home. I didn't buy any else. Mm-hmm. I didn't buy it here. And most likely he would be polite if he didn't want to be bothered and be like, hey man, I'm just enjoying my time with my friends, and you know, thanks for coming over, but I just want to do my own time alone. So that's, I guess, my thought process in that outgoingness is like, I know the guy's not going to shut me down. Just go and talk to him. Just go ask him. It's the same with like women. If you try to talk to them, like, don't be afraid to go talk to them.
Yeah, but I mean, with even particular fucking women, and I still deal with this now, and like that fear of rejection, you know what I mean? It's like, oof. And like my deep-seated, you know, fucking abandonment issues are there, and I'm like, you know, and it all happens within milliseconds for me, where at least this is what I'm trying to overcome now as I try to sharpen my extroverted muscle effectively. Is like, I noticed, you know, sort of retrospectively, when it was difficult for me to approach people and just be like, try to have conversation, whether it was man, women, whatever, there was always that little bit of like fear of rejection, you know what I mean? It's like, this guy, like, he doesn't want to talk to me. I don't really have much to add. He's probably busy with his own shit. And I feel like it's the other side of the coin with like people don't give a fuck. Like people, they're lost in their own world, blah, blah, blah. I think that's 100% true, but that doesn't mean that they still don't want to have a conversation with you or that they still don't want to have, an interaction with a fucking human being. You know what I mean? Like, and for me, I think it was because like I'm very comfortable being alone, right? And like my inner world is very imaginative and I'm perfectly fine just sitting in a fucking bar, hanging out by myself, thinking about whatever the fuck I want to think about. And so I think that everybody else is like that too.
That everybody is okay being alone.
Yeah, well, not necessarily just being like that, almost prefers it, if that makes sense. And so if I were to sort of interject into their experience, that I would be interrupting their inner peace time.
Yeah, I would say that's probably.
But I don't think that's
true.
accurate though. I think because especially now and what I'm recognizing in myself is the extroverted muscle craves that external stimulation from people. You know what I'm saying? Like that, I think that's kind of the key difference in introversion versus extroversion is like, okay, are you comfortable being completely by yourself? Whatever. Like that's more introversion versus extroversion is like, yeah, okay, I want to have a conversation with somebody, no matter the topic, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I would say to not to counter that, but to throw in a different idea, is that most people don't want to be bothered.
How do you know that though?
Well, I don't. I don't know that, but people don't generally. I would say people don't want to be messed with. They want to be messed with in the right way. So, for you to be bothered, you would enjoy if a guy was like, "Hey, man, those are some nice shoes, dude."
Yeah.
And you'd be like, "Oh, thanks."
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Versus if a guy came up to you and he was like, "Hey, man, what do you think about the moon landing?" You kind of be like,
Nah, I'd still be down for that, bro.
Yeah, right. I mean, some people are like in it, want to go into a conversation, but you're like, at least personally for me, I'm like, I don't have the energy to talk. We don't know each other.
Okay.
I don't have the energy to talk to you about that. But
that's interesting.
A simple interruption of, dude, nice shirt, or hey, dude, you smell good, or something like that. That's one thing that I've tried to do a lot more of is complimenting other men or telling them that they're doing a good job. Because one thing I think that we do very bad as a male species is that we do a lot of comparison and we don't send out a lot of maybe positive statements or encouraging statements. So one of the things that I've tried to change in my own life recently, maybe in the past like 2 years, is telling guys like, "Hey man, dude, that's a nice shirt that you're wearing," or "Hey, you're doing a really good job at one of the things." Sometimes I go, "Dude, you're a really good dad." Yeah. Like the stories that you tell me and what you say and what you're doing, like you're doing a good job. And that could be with work, that could be a general thing. But I try to do that more because as men, I feel like we have these man points that we feel like we have to stack up and stuff. And then if you give a compliment to another man about something, you feel like that's negative man points. Yeah. Like he's positive, you're negative, you lost some and he got some. And that's not the case. Like you're just being a good dude and that guy wants to hear it. That doesn't make you a weaker person. It doesn't. And I also want to spread that positivity because I want to hear it back too, like I don't, and us both being in the fire service, there's so much of that negativity that exists of like people not wanting to see you succeed and people not complimenting you on doing a good job or doing the right thing. They'll see you do the right thing or do a good job and then they won't say anything about it. But I pride myself on saying good job or hey, I noticed what you did. It's a good thing. I'm proud of you. Simple. I mean, hey, dude, you got engaged. Congratulations. There was like the first lieutenant's test that I took. I scored last. I did terrible. And I thought during the whole process that I was like, I'm gonna crush this thing. I'm putting time in. Like I'm the David Goggins of studying.
David Goggins are fucking taking tests. I'm gonna fucking ace this. You know, they have a term for that, like kind of confidence going into something like that.
Okay.
It's called uninformed optimism. It's when it's like that beginner's confidence, basically. When you're trying something new and you're like, I have no reason to believe that I'm gonna fail at this or not do well at it, so I'm gonna fucking crush this.
Okay.
But you don't know the scope of like what it takes to like do it,
Yeah.
and so they call it uninformed optimism.
Uninformed optimism.
And it's a good thing. I mean, it's an optimistic mindset of like, I'm gonna fucking crush this. You know.
The one part that I think people get stuck in a lot in terms of a skill is like, you know what you don't know, and then that's what you end up working on. And so in terms of like how I apply that to myself, in terms of drumming as one of my hobbies and what I do, I know everything that I don't know as a drummer. So that gives me an idea of what I need to work on. Yeah. Like I'm good enough and I've developed these skills and I understand what my musical vocabulary looks like. But then there's also this huge world of things that I still have to work on. And I'm at that stage. I'm not at that master or expert level yet.
So, in the realm of like entrepreneurship, what you just described, there's also like a 3-stage cycle. And the first stage is uninformed optimism.
Okay, like
Right?
we were
So
talking
this is
about.
what we were just talking about. So uninformed, you don't know what you don't know. Therefore, you are optimistic about the outcome because you don't know how difficult it is or what's included.
Yeah.
So you're optimistic. Then you switch to informed pessimism, which means you're now informed. You know what it will take to get to where you want to go, but you're pessimistic because it's a fucking mountain. And you're like, oh my God, this is so much.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I had to learn all of this in order to do this task. So it's like managing the unknown unknowns. Are you familiar with that term?
No, but
The
it
unknown
sounds like an
unknowns.
idea that
You don't know what you don't know. It's the
Okay.
unknown unknowns.
Yeah.
So you go from uninformed optimism, informed pessimism, to informed optimism after you start progressing with your skills. But that space between informed pessimism and informed optimism is a fucking Mount Everest of psychological turmoil. And effectively what this podcast is about. Okay. Like getting through that space of, oh shit, there's so much that I have to now learn existed.
Right.
And now I have to try to learn that just to achieve this thing. And it's like, it's led me to feeling very, very incompetent, stupid. Like you're trying new skills to accomplish this goal that you thought originally you expected was going to be, oh, it's fucking easy. I can fucking do whatever the fuck it is. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh shit, no, this is actually pretty fucking hard.
Yeah.
This is fucking hard.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work.
That came from Hormozy, that Hormozy guy.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's his thing. He calls it the life cycle of an entrepreneur.
Where did we start off that with?
Well, we were talking about like talking to people in fucking bars and shit.
Yeah.
And the Cigar guy.
I forget how we got on
and
Lieutenant's thing. Oh, with the positive, when I was talking about how we giving guys compliments and stuff.
Yeah.
So like going into the Lieutenant's test, I was like, I'm gonna be the fucking David.
There was something I want to ask you about that though,
Sure.
about like, you know, like what brought you to the point to where you decided that you wanted to start paying compliments to other men?
I would say the lack of compliments to myself, the lack of compliments that I had received, and the bombardment of negative comments that you receive of the, maybe not people shutting you down, but you know you're doing a good job and nobody tells you. And you're like, dang, man, I wish. It's kind of like the thing of just, I wish somebody would tell me that I'm on the right path. Like, how do you know that you're doing the right thing? And then so I had thought to myself, I had experienced a lot of these negative comments or lack of compliment, lack of reassurance that I'm doing the right thing, that I was like, you know what, to change this, I'm gonna be the guy that does give positive statements to people or positive compliments. Because I can't ask other people to do that. I can't be like, hey, tell me I'm doing good. First of all, that's like narcissistic and egotistical. But it's just not the then it's a false reassurance that
I
you
well,
do.
I yes, a little bit,
Yeah.
but also if it's coming from a place of like say like you and I, if I were to come to you and be like, "Hey man, like I think what I'm doing is in the right direction of where I want to go. How do you see it from your perspective?" Like I wouldn't say that that would be narcissistic. It's like it's effectively what you're talking about. Like so you've taken it upon yourself, at least from the way I'm understanding it, and correct me if I'm wrong. It's like you want to be the change that you want to see in the world, as well as you want to be the person that you needed when you were younger, like
Right.
even
Yeah.
just 5
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Like you want to be that person because you didn't have it. So now you're taking it upon yourself to be the change that you want to see in the world. And that's fucking amazing. Like
Yeah.
that's such a fucking skill and such a like level up in maturity and in fucking in masculinity, I think, in anything. Um, but also I think it's okay to ask for help in that realm as well. And I think that's a version of strength and masculinity in and of itself is like, because I'm in this fucking state of change and whatever in my life, going from firefighter to whole identity shift into what the fuck am I going to do? And I had a lot of that.
Yeah.
I got nobody telling me I'm doing the right thing.
You're right.
It's just me v me, and fucking I'm one hell of a warrior. So I'm battling myself
Yeah,
every
yeah,
day,
yeah.
So sometimes it's fucking nice just to like approach your fucking buddy and be like, dude, how does this look to you, man?
Yeah, yeah.
I think I need
Yeah.
a little bit of help here.
Right.
And I think that that goes a long ways in this whole conversation that we're talking about. I think men, particularly, it's up to us to just, like, no one cares, especially about men, right? No one cares. No one's
Yeah.
walking, like, I'm worried about my shit, you're worried about your shit, and, like, we're trying to get our shit done. But, like, so I think it goes a long ways to not only outwardly go out of your way to, like, pay compliments to dudes, but also if you are in need of help, fucking ask for help, man.
Yeah.
You know? It's fucking.
I've fortunately never been in that. I mean, maybe I have, and I've just overcome it personally or individually. I've never of like I need to ask for help or something like that. I need to ask for reassurance. I kind of just like trudge through it
Yeah,
myself.
but from what the account that you just gave was, you said the reason why you took it upon yourself to start paying compliments to those people is because you recognized that how good it feels that and that there was a lack of no one telling you were on the right path
Yeah.
in your life and things like that. And so those could have been opportunities for you to ask for help,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, it probably gives me personal satisfaction. It would be a dual positive in terms of I tell somebody that I'm proud of them or I compliment them and that makes them feel good. And then what makes me feel good is that I was able to be emotional to them and show them like compassion and empathy and being like, yeah, man, you're doing good. And then it makes me feel good because I'm like, I'm lifting this guy up. I hope he has a better day, or I hope he maybe realizes something that he doesn't see. Yeah. And I've had I've had some serious conversations with some guys that have told me some deep things, and they've gone into some serious detail with stuff. And I don't want to say it was surprising. I mean, but the conversation just flows how it was, and I'll ask guys like how they're doing, and like one basic example. It's very low level intensity, but one of the new guys at the fire department was just coming in to work and was like, you could tell that he's just like kind of sad looking. And it didn't help that he wasn't really doing a good job. Like when we were doing certain evolutions, the guy he's just like a little bit lost. He wasn't really like a go-getter, and he was trying, and that's good because that's all I want you to do. I just want you to try. But like he was even trying and just like it wasn't really sticking. And I don't know if he was getting shit from guys at the department that were maybe like, dude, this guy can't fucking do the job, that typical shit. Anyways, I saw him coming into work and he just looked kind of like sad for multiple shifts. And so finally I was leaving, I was going off shift and I saw him and I was like, hey man, you doing all right? And he was like, yeah, why? I go, dude, you just seem kind of sad or like you don't want to be here. Is there something wrong? Is there anything you want to talk about? And he just went into a little detail. He was just like, no, I got some problems at home. And he said, I think he had problems with his grandmother or something, like her being sick or something like that. And I was like, all right, cool. I just want to make sure that, and then I'll throw a joke in there. I want to make sure you're not going to like drive your truck off a bridge or something. Because like if you are, just come talk to me. And I was like, hey man, just keep sticking to what you're doing and keep coming into work and trying to do a good job. And those problems at home will eventually work themselves out.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what you did there, I mean, that's huge, man. Like you put yourself out there in what I would call like a position of brotherhood, which is, a word that gets thrown around, particularly in fire service, but it's a very hot topic now, just in men's mental health arena conversation.
Yeah.
Is like brotherhood. And that's sort of what you just described there, was like, first of all, you're holding space for this person and just like, I see you, I see that you're going through something. I don't know what it is, but I just want to let you know, hey, you can talk to me if you want, that type of thing. So did you, like, when you were coming up through the fire service or just in life, I mean, I think we talked about it a little bit, but like, did you have any of that? Ship guide?
No, it was, I worked for 2 part-time departments throughout the development of my fire career. And I was very young when I got in. I think I was 19 when I started. And the place that I worked at, it was a full-time and part-time department. They hated part-timers. And so naturally, no matter who you were, like what you did, it doesn't matter. You're coming in as part-time, you're the new guy, fuck you, you suck, you have to like prove yourself and everything. And so
Bottom of the food chain.
yeah, but I think I spent 3 years there, and even towards the end there was like just some major assholes that like, and sure there was, a couple of things that I did wrong, but never anything that put anybody in danger. There was like small things maybe, and stuff that like guys have to learn or something like that. And it would even be like little stuff. I mean, so now when I see certain situations like that with new guys or with anybody, I try to use it as a teaching scenario. Like, hey, you may not know this, or like you may not know this rule or how we do it, but here, let me show you how, or let me tell you why this is the right thing to do. Because like, going into that, and then the other department that I worked for was they were very like cliquey, and I think the guys do know that there as well, but very cliquey. And if you're in the group, it doesn't matter what you do. You're a cool guy. Yeah. If you're not, anything that you do, like you're a fuck up, and they don't like you. And I had my friends there and everything, and that was cool. And some guys that I'm still friends with. And so what that tells me is that I was doing a good job. Because if I was doing a bad job, then nobody would like me, and I would have no friends and not be able to talk to anybody and not be able to do anything. But
but I think that's a thing in and of itself, is like what a lot of young guys, what I didn't realize at first, is if guys are picking on you, particularly in like an over masculine, like, we only have experience in the fucking fire service, right? So it's a little bit different. Like if you're in the corporate world, it's different, right? Yeah. So But in like this general sense of like, if guys are picking on you or and they're talking and they're engaging with you in any way, that's usually a good sign. Like even if they're
Yeah,
fucking making
yeah.
fun of you or whatever, it's when they go silent and they don't
Okay.
pay you any attention. I mean, has that been your experience too? It's when the guys leave you alone and whatever, they don't talk to you at all to when you're like, oh shit, that's maybe when you should start thinking about. Because to me, that's a sign that they're like, they've given up on me,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
right? Like they don't care if I, do good or not, and if I succeed at this job or not, because they just given up on me.
Yeah. I've had plenty of the ball busting in the fire service at everywhere that I've worked. And I've only had somebody who's been silent to me, but never an entire group, just like an individual person. Oh, yeah. And that's okay with me because not everybody has to like me. I don't have to be friends with everybody. We just have to work together. That's it. And so I've only had the silence from like one or two people. Other than that, everybody's been either friendly, just they'll casually talk to you, or like ball busting because you end up developing that level of friendship. Yeah. Now, to me, in my, it's like I've been in the fire service for 12 years now. I mean, that counts my part-time experience. But one thing that I'm not trying to change the fire department culture itself. I'm just trying to change my own individual approach. And if people want to jump on board with me, they can. And so how I do that is when we get new guys on the department, I don't want to bust their balls or like make the job super fucking hard for them and that they have to like earn their spot and fuck you and be here 2 hours early and wash everything before it's like all done. There's certain stuff you have to do as a new guy. You got to take initiative. I also want to make them feel welcome at the place that they're going to work at for the next 30 fucking years of their life. And so there's a big brotherhood in it, in the life, but then there's also those guys who fall into the category of really like putting guys down and like ball busting them, but they ride a very fine line of, hey man, that's not ball busting. You're like making fun of somebody. And like and I think ball busting is fine. But the reason why I don't think it should really be done that much is because there's a negative psychological effect that is unknown, an invisible psychological effect it has on another person. So if all you're getting, if all the feedback that you're getting is ball busting and stuff like that, you will look back on it, interpret it as, oh yeah, okay, like the guys they're busting my balls, they like me and everything, and then but what you don't see is the impact that it's having on your brain of like, man, these guys they're fucking with me all the time because I forgot to like put my hood up or something like that, or oh man, I forgot the water can on the truck, and then you're thinking in the back of your mind, am I just a giant fuck up, or nobody's ever complimenting you on the good things that you're doing.
Sure.
So
you're not getting the positive reinforcement along with the ball busting.
Right.
So, again, I think what you're saying is ball busting is all well and good, and it's like part of it, and it could be a good thing, but it has to be accompanied with positive reinforcement as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it turns into like bullying.
Yes.
Or it could. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It could go down, and then there's
because you don't know how that person is internalizing it.
Right.
And so, like, if you want to approach that style of mentorship, it's fine, but also just recognize that, like, if you want to be effective mentor, you also need to figure out how to provide positive reinforcement in a safe space for both mentor and mentee type thing. Yeah.
And there's the herding effect as well. Is that like when somebody sees that the ball busting or the slightly like negative thing, everybody thinks it's appropriate, and then they all jump on board, and then you're getting this bombardment of ball busting, and nobody's ever. So I'm trying to be that chill guy. I was like, hey man, you're doing. I'll tell somebody if they fuck up, like, dude, don't do that. Here's why it's wrong, and this is what we do, and this is the right way to do it. I'll show you. If you don't know, I'll teach you, or something like that. And I also make it an initiative to, or something that I actively try to do in the times that I'm acting or like in charge or whatever, that if we do yeah, if we do a good job on something, I'll say, hey, we did a good job, guys, you guys did very well. Yeah. Or at the end of shift when everybody's leaving, hey man, nice job yesterday, it was good working with you. And then that also has an invisible positive energy to it.
Yeah.
Because it's a very fleeting moment. It's a very like, hey man, good job.
Yeah.
As they're leaving the door.
Yeah, right.
You might not take a lot of notice to that. Yeah. But you're like, oh, dude told me nice job. He's not going to remember that.
Yeah.
But maybe he's walking out the door and he's like, oh, yeah, we did do a good job.
Yeah, I mean,
and then leaves and goes and does his thing. And that started off his morning in a pretty positive way.
It's a seed. It's a seed of positivity, basically. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be much. And I feel like that's one thing as I watched guys progress through the fire department and mature and want to become leaders and things like that, and lieutenants and blah, blah, blah. Like, you could always kind of tell when a guy was going to be a good lieutenant because he was not shy with compliments. And it was like, yes, he would tell you exactly when you fucked up. And it's like, hey, you did this wrong. We got to do better. Maybe bust your balls a little bit. But also it was that little, that's all it takes. It's just those little things like, hey, good job yesterday. Right. Boom, done. It doesn't have to be this big thing. It doesn't have to be some, big show of affection. It can just be those little things. But I feel like inherently, again, as like competitive men, it's difficult to keep that front of mind. I know for me anyways, like I've walked away from a lot of interactions where I was like, oh shit, I could have done a better job there. Like I didn't do a bad job of encouraging someone, but I could have said maybe just one more little thing to help them. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like, in your experience, how do you keep that skill front of mind? And how do you make it a point? How do you encourage yourself to be cognizant about leaving those positive little nuggets with people? Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Like, how do you build that muscle?
It's probably just a constant. It's maybe a reminder or it's a habit, because it doesn't take much energy to compliment somebody.
But you didn't always have that.
No,
you didn't always do that, right?
I didn't. I mean, but going back to what we said, I think it turned around to where I looked around at what was happening in the culture and the energy, and this is not just the fire department. This is among men and friends as well. It's like, hey, how big is the dildo you got with them boots? Like you fucking whatever, calling them gay and everything, and you're like, just how about don't do that? How about just compliment them on their boots? So I think it was looking around at the culture and the way that men are both in the fire service and outside of it, and I was like, I don't think I want to be that guy that is always like busting balls or always making fun of somebody. I would much rather be known and remembered for the guy who's spreading positivity, the guy who's encouraging, and who's like, hey man, it's all right that you messed up or something like that, or it's all right that, like, dude, try again, or you're doing a good job, I'm proud of you, nice job on that, or hey dude, you're really good at that, can you show me how to do that? And so stuff like that, and I found that I enjoyed those people so much more. Yeah. And then so I go, I want to emulate that person. I don't want to emulate that guy that's negative and who just, when I hear him say certain stuff or behave a certain way, I'm just kind of like, I don't want that energy. I don't like that. Nor do I want to display that myself in terms of who I am.
Yeah. But again, that goes back to you being the change you want to see in the world,
Yeah.
Like you didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And you recognize that, like, you valued that when the few people would do it for you. You're like, oh fuck, that feels pretty nice when the dude just says nice fucking shoes.
There's a potential I could be a hypocrite too, because I'm also like, I want to give positive comments to people and tell them they do a good job, but then I don't want to have a small talk with the fucking idiot in the bar. So they're like, this guy's trying to spread positivity.
Hey man, nice shirt. Don't talk to me. Yeah.
That occurs in, like, with people I know in my circle.
Yeah.
Of like trying to be positive or something.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
I guess if I notice something very specific, or if I see somebody did something right, maybe I'll say something new. But
Yeah.
otherwise, in the public, if I don't really know them, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say much.
I've started experimenting with that, like complimenting strangers just randomly. Um, and the way I like sort of picked up on that or started doing it was because I go to music festivals. And so at a music festival, like that's very much the energy there. It's very community driven, the whole thing, the plur vibe, peace, love, unity, respect. Like it's an uplifting environment where no one is afraid to give a compliment. Yeah. And no one feels bad receiving a compliment. It's just an open space. And I was at a fucking festival earlier this year, and I was like, man, how do we bring this energy to the real world? Because it sucks. You're at a 3-day festival, you leave the festival, and then you're back into the real world where you can't just walk up to someone and say, hey man, I like your shoes. And it's sort of taboo, and it's like a little bit weird, and it might make them feel uncomfortable and things like that. So I've started to like experiment with it a little bit. And I'll give you an example. I was running the other day around the trail down there by the lake, and I had my headphones on, and I looked over and I saw this guy was with his girlfriend, and I think maybe they had a kid with them. But the guy was just like posing for a photo, you know? And he looked kind of awkward, like as we do when we're trying to pose for photos, you know what I mean? And his girlfriend was like, you know, trying to direct him, and he just kind of looked, his body language was kind of like awkward and stuff. And I just shouted at the guy, I was like, looking good, big sexy. And like the smile that lit up this fucking guy's face, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I saw a physical change in his posture and like his body language. And then he was like, oh, you know, started posing for the photos and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like little shit like that, like that I'm trying to do more of for strangers.
Yeah. You're yelling like, I bet you have a giant cock.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, oh yeah.
I walked by one guy and I was like, I just gave him a head nod and I just stuck my fist down. I was like, you're fucking jacked, bro. And it kept going. And he stopped and he goes, you're fucking jacked, man.
Yeah.
I was like, thanks, bro.
That's a compliment. Guys are like, dude, I can tell you're working out.
Yeah, man.
And it's also hard for guys to accept that compliment.
But think about how good that feels.
It feels great, but most, I don't want to say most, because I can't speak for everybody, but I know, and maybe it's just a personal thing as well. But I've seen it with other people as well, where you'll tell them that, dude, you're looking good. And then, but you say that you're looking good, so you pay a compliment to somebody else. That might not be the personal image of them, or the self-image that they have, the self-awareness they have of themselves. So if they don't think they're looking good, then they might not take your compliment to its fullest potential. Because, and then
you're saying it may not land well because of their self-esteem.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm doing it, or somebody be like, you been in the gym, and you'd be like, nah, dude, I've been missing it. I can't. Instead of taking a compliment, and this was something that I saw in a video. The guy was like, in terms of drumming, he goes, when you play a show, and somebody comes up to you afterwards, and they go, hey, dude, you did a great job drumming. And I've done this before. I've been guilty of this. And just being like, oh, yeah, you know, thanks, but I missed a couple things and stuff. First of all, they don't know that. They think that you played a great show. They think that is awesome. But then you're also not fulfilling their opinion that you're like shutting down their opinion that you did a good job. It's essentially when they say, great show, did a good job at drumming, and you go, you know, there's a lot of parts where I fucked up, I didn't really do that great. It's you shutting them down and saying, you're wrong, I did not do a good job because of my own opinion, rather than letting them say, like, good job. Right. And then you just go, oh, thanks, appreciate that. So, and guys do the same thing when it comes to when you say, like, they look good. Maybe, I don't want to say all of them. You have those great experiences, like you just said, where you're on the trails, and the guys are like, hell yeah, dude, I've been lifting. Yeah, bro. You know, that's a good feeling.
Would you say that you personally are good at receiving compliments?
No.
Is that something that you want to get better at?
Yeah, for sure. I've caught myself. not receiving compliments well and then apologizing for that and saying thank you. Probably what I noticed more about myself. I mean, I've learned a ton about myself since probably since like breaking my leg, I think, and what we talked about the first day that I was here. I've learned so much about myself in terms of self discovery and like how I want to change and who I want to be as a man as well. So, in regards to receiving compliments, I never received compliments well because I didn't believe them. I was like, I don't believe you. Like,
Wait, you didn't believe that they meant it, or you didn't believe it about yourself?
I didn't believe it about myself. Yeah. So somebody would compliment me, and I'd be like, nah, I don't believe that. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say that, but a perfect example I can think of was so we're all working out. We're in probably like the height of the summer where we're all looking pretty good and being like pretty active and
Hell
stuff.
yeah,
And
dude.
so,
Hot boy summer.
yeah. And so you're feeling good and everything. And I think all of us like had our shirts off and we were just drinking water. You know, we're sweating and bullshitting and stuff. And he's like, "Hey man, you look good. Like your chest is looking bigger, your shoulders looking bigger, and everything." And I was just like, I don't think so, dude. No, I don't. I don't agree with that. I don't. And then I caught myself. I was like, hold on, wait. I'm sorry, and thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. And so, like in that moment, I made that a part of this self discovery journey. I'm glad I was able to recognize that because it's like, hey, somebody's paying you a compliment. Accept that compliment and use the good out of it. Like, don't let your own, I don't want to say view of yourself, but don't let your own negativity cloud the comment that somebody's paying you. So, and be appreciative of that because that he's being that positive person that I'm trying to be by paying that compliment. So, I caught myself in that situation where I was like, "Oh wait, hang on, rewind. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that." And then maybe it gave me a little bit of like pep in my step, you know, kind of like, all right, yeah, maybe, you know, maybe I am getting a little jacked. Like I'm still on the relatively small side, but I could do what.
See, but okay, so right there, let me call that out.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have to give I forget what it's called, but it's like a caveat when you say when you express that you're proud of yourself for something and you compliment yourself, you also then immediately give like a caveat. Like you're like, yeah, maybe I did feel like I was getting bigger and maybe my chest is getting bigger. I mean, I'm not the biggest guy. Like, why is that necessary for you to follow up, like why can't you just be proud of yourself without also having to justify it with, but I'm not the biggest, you know, like, why do you think that that mechanism exists? Because I experienced that as well.
Yeah. For me, I think it's because I'm a pretty black and white guy. And so I think if I was, let's say I was another person like watching this podcast or something, or I was analyzing something and then saw a guy say that and be like, oh yeah, you know, he like thinks in that moment he thought he was big. But then in the black and white, in the objective sense of it, where I think and where my mind goes in the objective thing, you're like, yeah, well, the guy felt good, but he's not really that big. And so it's not necessarily a negative emotion that I'm thinking to myself. It's more of the objective reality of it. And that's where that you said the caveat. So that's where the caveat comes in for me.
Can I
Is that
challenge
it's
that perspective a little bit?
yeah, sure. I'm open to that.
So, you know, I think what you just described to me was like you have an awareness that you're not the biggest guy, right? And what you described to me was if someone were to watch you, witness you say that, their thought process would be like, oh, this guy thinks he's big, but he's really not,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But what if they do? What if they're small? What if they're big? Or what if they're just a person that's like, oh yeah, this guy is in shape. This guy is like, you know what I mean? And like, why are you automatically deciding for them, for anyone out there, the objective person, right? That they're going to have a negative image of you rather than a positive image of you that reinforces your feeling of, yeah, I am in good shape. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's probably, I mean, now we're getting, kind of deep, but it's probably because of the maybe my own interpretation of myself sometimes. So maybe I am applying my own opinion to the unknown person. Like my opinion of myself is the same as them, and that's where I initiate that caveat to it. As I go, yeah, I know I'm not one of the biggest dudes, and yeah, I'm not the greatest, like in shape or look the best or something. I certainly don't fall in the lower percentile. I'd say I fall in like that average range to wherever, but it's probably, I mean, if I had to diagnose it, it's probably because of that. Maybe my own image, and there's certainly times of my own if we're talking about body image, there's times in my life where as a man I felt better about my body than I have in other times. And so I guess when I feel real good about myself, and I would say if I feel Chris might be if I feel like a weapon. Capable, yes. If I feel like that, then a positive compliment of, hey man, you look good, your chest look big, I'll be like, and here's kind of where my ego gets in the way a little bit, is that I'll be like, yeah, I fucking know. Yeah. Yeah, dude, I know. And so, uh, yeah, that's probably where it gets in the way
And what about
sometimes.
the flip side of that? Like if someone were to compliment you and you're like, nah, I don't think that's true.
Yeah, I'm trying to change my own personal approach. Like I said before, is don't negate the person's positive compliment. Like accept it and then use that to your advantage of like use that to a positive psychological advantage of that, hey, they gave you a compliment, somebody notices you. They're like, yeah, you're looking good. You're looking bigger. You're whatever you're trying to achieve. Even if you're trying to like lose weight. Hey man, I see you, dude, you lost a lot of weight. You're looking shredded.
Do you think that, so like what we're kind of talking about, the bigger container of this is self-esteem, right? Because it's like your view of yourself effectively in a given circumstance is effectively self-esteem.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind is like that's the container that we're talking about. And how can you remove the subjective experience, which is like your experience of how you view yourself from an objective interaction? So when you have a stranger that comes up to you and is just objectively saying, they're giving you their interpretation of what they see. Hey man, you're doing a good job. Hey man, you look good. Hey man, your shoes are nice. How can you remove the subjective response from that includes your self-esteem, and just take the compliment for what it is at face value and not apply a mask or an intention behind it? Just receive it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I mean that's a tough one. I think that's still a discovery that I'm trying to make. I think I'm getting closer. I'm inching closer there. And that's why I say that I like getting older. A lot of people are, hey, don't get old. They say that bullshit. I like getting older because each and every day I'm evolving into the man that I want to be. And I'm slowly like getting better at every single thing. And you can apply that to the most basic thing of like, I'm getting better at taking my vitamins every day. Or you can apply it to the big picture of like, I'm trying to advance my career by doing X, Y, and Z. And like, I'm doing that every day and I'm trying to get better. So to, yeah, to kind of remove yourself from the subjective and objective nature of those positive compliments in your own interpretation and view of yourself. I think I'm still on the road to discovery for that. And I notice a difference in terms of, instead of negating somebody's opinion or their compliment, like taking it at the value and try to use the positive out of that. But I'm still on that journey. To answer your question, I haven't figured out the answer to that yet. I know sometimes where I will maybe go wrong, but I do like to live in this world. And it's a bad narcissistic and egotistical trait that I have, and I probably got from my dad, I think is where I got this from. And I know it's bad. I know it's like toxic or whatever, but there's sometimes when I'm like, I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucker walking this earth, dude. I just go, and it's a cool thing. Like, I think people should live in that world.
It's a champion mentality.
Yes, exactly.
Like, anytime you watch like these fucking dudes, you know, they're like, you have to have that mindset.
Yeah.
Like especially MMA fighters, like you can't go into the ring
No.
thinking that there's any other possibility than you destroying that person.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like a champion mentality, and it carries you through
Right.
a lot of shit. And yeah, okay, sure, if you zoom out enough, are you the biggest, baddest motherfucker? No, there's always somebody out there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
But sometimes you need to have that fucking pep in your step, that fucking extra little swagger, that cockiness to you.
And I've tried to tell some people.
But where does that come from?
I think inherently from like my dad or something, or either that or the success that I have achieved. It's like the imposter syndrome, which is something that a lot of people deal with, and I've dealt with myself. I read something interesting that was like the only way to beat imposter syndrome is to continually prove it wrong. Mm-hmm. And so you reach these certain milestones or goals and you think you're an imposter the whole time, but then you look back on the past and you go, I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not an imposter. I've done what I set out to do, and I've achieved these goals or hit these accomplishments or changed as a person. And so like, I'm that guy. And so to get back to what I was saying before in terms of living in that, and you described it perfectly, because that's the caveat that I had said before of, you know, I get into that mental mindset of I'm the biggest, baddest motherfucking walking the earth, and I'm going to stomp this bitch like it owes me something. But like you said, the caveat is when you zoom out, you know that you're not, but it's good to masquerade in that mental model for a little bit.
To keep it here and like to sort of expand on this a little bit, how can you facilitate that feeling in your life more often? Because it's a great feeling, right? Mm-hmm. Like you feel empowered, you feel, masculine, you feel capable, you feel like you could fuck the world, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, as you go through life and you become more self-aware, how can you develop that as a muscle? Trigger it at will and bring it to the forefront and say, okay, I'm going into a situation where I intend to show up powerful in whatever capacity. How can I embody this attitude that I know exists inside of me for whatever reason or not, whether it's from your dad or your past achievements or whatever it is? Is there some way you think that you can practice bringing this emotion, this power that you have into your body and into the present moment?
Yeah, another tough question. I think it's inherently built in me. I think it's a trait that I have that some people don't. Another bad egotistical, like mental mindset that I might get in sometimes is like, and this is more with like experiences and stuff, but I go, it's my world and you're just living in it. That's
yeah, that one might be a little toxic.
Yeah, exactly. right.
I don't think the champion mindset, I don't think that's toxic at all. I think that's useful and powerful, and as long as you're not walking around fucking flicking people in the head, like a bully, you know what I mean? Right. Like, I think that's fucking, it's amazing. But yeah, I think maybe having the view of like, it's my world and you're just living it, that's a little narcissistic.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah. And I also think that the other mindset of you're the biggest, baddest motherfucker walking the earth, I think that can be also dangerous.
Yeah, well. If you live there all the time.
But if you can only dip your toe in
That's
that
what I'm
water
saying. But
a
there are some
little
people
bit.
that live there all the time.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's how they fucking walk through it. And that's toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
That's what that is, right? It's these fucking dickheads that walk around that think that because they don't have the ability to zoom out and recognize, oh, wait, no, I'm not.
Right.
Ah, shit. That was fun while it lasted, you know? And I needed that boost of fucking testosterone, basically, to do whatever it was I wanted to do and feel good for the moment. But they don't have the ability to zoom out like that.
I've developed the awareness for that of in terms of the like it's my world and you're just living in it. I rarely ever go there. I think it's okay to dip your toe in that water. Sure. A little bit is narcissistic.
It's part of life.
Yeah. But the other one of you're the biggest, baddest motherfucker walking the earth, that's a mindset I like to get into sometimes, a championship mindset. But where I've learned that what really gets me out of that mindset is through all the experiences that I've had, that there is, and I look at the bigger picture more often with the hobbies and things that I do or just things I do in life in general, that there is always somebody better than you. Because I've gone into, this was like playing pool. Last night we were playing pool, and that was like first time I walked up to the pool table, like playing in the league. It's my first game, and I fucking missed the cue ball. And it is like, fucking dumbass. I walked in there and I was like, I'm gonna smoke everybody. I've been playing at home. I've been watching videos. There ain't nobody that can beat me. And then I go in there and fucking whiff. And it's the same in jiu-jitsu. It's the same when it comes to the drums. And that's with baseball, chess, like all these things that I've done. And it's the, whatever model you want to call it, the toilet bowl model or the pyramid model or something, is that like the skill level and the amount of people gets more and more narrow the farther you go into the hobby or experience or skill. And then that's where I recognize.
The better you become, the less competition there is. But the more intense the competition is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because they're better too.
Right.
But there's less of them because it takes a long time to mastery, right? And not a lot of people fall off before.
I think about it with athletes all the time. And
well, hang on, to sort of come back to what we were talking about earlier, to where when I asked you, like, was there anything that you think you can do to like manifest that feeling of the champion mindset, basically? So what you just described to me is like your way of getting out of that mindset is to subjectively recall times when you have fallen short effectively of the mark, like when you walked in and you missed the cue ball, right? That gives you the macro zoom of like, okay, I'm not the baddest motherfucker walking the earth, and it brings you back down to a normal level of a human being, right? What if the way to incite that feeling inside of you is to think objectively and subjectively about the times when you crushed it? You know? And you're like, objectively, right? You're like, okay, when were times, and this was a thing that I learned through Hormozy and Williamson and shit. Hormozy's line is when you're feeling like self-doubt, self-conscious about yourself, and you're not feeling very like powerful or whatever, you should be able to look back at your life and see an undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are. And if you can objectively look back and say, okay, no, I fucking crushed it here, I crushed it here, I crushed it here, I crushed it here, objectively speaking, right? Take my ego out of it. Then that can maybe trigger a sense of like, fucking motherfucker, I got this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like maybe that can be a mechanism to like call that champion mindset forward of the more times you stack wins, acknowledging that and sitting in that present moment when you do win, like we were talking about before, of like stretching time and shit and being present with yourself and like acknowledging that, okay, I did pretty good. I did well with this, and filing that one away just as efficiently as you file the negative ones away, right? Because it's so easy to get down on yourself and be like, fuck, I fucking whiffed that cue ball and shit. But also, how many times have you walked up to a pool table and cracked the fuck out of that thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And so I think as, you know, as men and human beings in general, it's so easy for us to file away the negativity. but we got to build the muscle of filing away the positive experiences too.
Oh, okay.
In order to develop that self-mastery muscle of being able to call forth emotions of not just negativity or neutral or whatever, but also positive emotions. It's like, okay, I want to say you're going into a meeting or you're going into a interview for a promotional exam, say, and you're like, I want to feel powerful during this. I want to exude confidence. How can I call that forward in myself? And it's through this practice of recollecting the times when you fucking crushed it, and taking those cue cards out of your pocket and going through them vividly in your mind, replaying the scenario to help build your champion mindset back up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that Alex Hormozy thing sounds like the essential answer to imposter syndrome. Yeah. And I like the model that you use of building a positive vocabulary that you can then draw off of. I mean, yeah, that's I with myself, I don't know. I think sometimes it just I turn it on. And just, but it depends.
But wouldn't it be nice if you could control it? Like I
kind of can. I think I kind of can just through implementation from before, or just maybe say, hey man, you got this. Don't whatever happens happens. So, but there's the interesting thing. I'm forgetting it. This is in preparation for the test, the lieutenant's test, is that my preparation or like trying to or being afraid of the gap between preparation and outcome. So you don't know, however much you prepare, like whatever you do. And this happened the first time that I took the test and you and I talked about it. Whatever preparation you do, you don't know if that will be enough to give you the outcome that you're looking for. And if it doesn't, then you go back and look like, oh, fuck, like, what did I do wrong? And you're worried about the preparation that you did. I think this time around, taking the test for the second time, I felt more prepared for it. I felt more positive about it. Like I was more confident in my preparation and the time that I put in and my mentality about it versus last time. Last time I was just so focused on like, I've prepared and this is enough to give me a positive outcome. And it was like only that. Versus this time I was like, oh, okay, I prepared, I feel confident, I want a positive outcome, but I'm okay with whatever outcome may happen, whether that is positive or negative. And then also developing a future plan. Like if this doesn't go the way that you want it, how will you react to it? And what will you do differently in the future?
Well, but I think that's like a learning experience. You know, you went into it with that uninformed optimism.
Yeah.
And now that you saw that it was much more difficult than you thought, it takes more work. Now you went through a phase of informed pessimism, right? And now you're in the informed optimism because you're like, okay, no, wait, I got this. Like I worked hard enough to where I'm comfortable with whatever outcome. I left it all on the table, basically, you know? And another fucking Hormozyism is outwork your self-doubt.
Yeah.
And that's what you did. You outworked your self-doubt, basically, you know? It's tough. But I think, like, you know, basically, to summarize what we talked about is don't be afraid to go out of your way to, you know, extend a hand to a fellow man, practice brotherhood, as well as don't be afraid to ask for it, guidance when you need it, you know, and be vulnerable and because there are other men out there willing to help and they're not going to make fun of you, they're not going to, you know, whatever. Most of us, I think, have at least some instance in our life where we wish we had a guide, or we wish we had a mentor, or we wish we had help. We made it through. Good job, you know, but also if you're in that position, like, don't be afraid to ask, because we've all been there at some point. And, don't be afraid to just go out of your way to do that for somebody.
Dude, this was something else I thought of while we were talking about guys who study for the test. Not to go back too much on this, because I know we're short on time. Yeah, but where guys go and study for the test and they use the excuse of like, I'm not studying that hard, to give them the out as like a scapegoat for if they don't do well, they can use that as an excuse like ahead of time. But something that I learned from Rorty was that he was like, just put yourself in uncomfortable positions, and you're sure you might fail, but you're also giving yourself the option for success. Like if you don't even try, then
you're 100% going to fail.
Yeah, you're 100% going to fail. But like if you try, it's like a 50-50. Yeah, 50 we die, 50, So, and he told me this after I went to go try out for the Cavs drumline the second time. I took comp time at work, and I left for like 4 hours. And I went down to my fiance's apartment because she lived in downtown Cleveland. And so hanging out there, the tryout was at the Q, the arena downtown in Cleveland. And I was just not feeling it. I was like, they didn't take me the first time. I haven't gotten any better. I'm not a good drummer. Like, I'm not any of that. And so I was just like scared of the denial of not getting picked. I was
rejection.
Rejection, yeah. I was too scared of the rejection. And so I didn't go. And I also wasn't feeling it either. That was another thing that affected it, was where my head was at, was I was like, man, if I do make it, I don't want another part-time job. I don't want to be working. I got to do this, and then I got to go through the awkwardness of the audition, and then if I pull myself out there and I don't get it. Long story short, I didn't go. I ended up meeting with my drum instructor later on, and he was like, dude, I wish you would have came. He goes, we added 4 spots like to the team, and he goes, you probably would have had a good chance. And then I go back to work because I had taken like 4 hours of comp. I go back, and Roddy's like, hey man, did you get it? And I go, I didn't go. And he goes, you didn't fucking go? And I go, no, dude, I wasn't feeling it. Like I didn't think I was gonna make it. I didn't think I was good enough. He goes, dude, you gotta stop fucking doing that to yourself. He goes, you do that all the time. You don't think that you're good enough to do something, so you just like pull yourself out of it without even trying. And so this last time that I auditioned for the drumline, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna do it, and like whatever happens, and if a positive outcome goes, if not, like I can at least say I tried. And of course, didn't make it. It was a little bit more positive than last time.
But you at least did it.
But I at least tried. And the first person I texted was Roddy. I was like, hey man, I tried out for the drumline, but I didn't make it. And he was like, oh man, I'm proud of you for putting yourself out there. He's like, just like doing hard things makes you a better man. Like being in uncomfortable situations. That's exactly what it was. The first time, dude, I knew that. I told you this. I showed up and I was like, I think I'm the second worst drummer here. In terms of thinking in black and white terms, of being in that outer bubble of you walk in thinking like, oh, I'm pretty good. And you go in there, I'm like, God, I am. And then what switched in that first audition for me was that I was like, okay, I know I'm the second worst drummer here in terms of skills. I'm probably not making it. So let's just use this as an experience to have fun.
What that brings to mind for me is I've been working with this idea of intentions versus expectations in life. And what's led to a lot of my pain and suffering in the world has been when certain interactions or experiences or whatever haven't met my expectations. Meaning I built up what I thought was going to happen based on my previous experience in life, as we all do, right? That's what fucking, life and living is. You go to a football game, you've been to a football game before. You can generally expect that it's going to go like this, blah, 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 blah. And then something happens at the football game, or you get sick, or your girlfriend is a dick that day, or whatever the fuck it was, and the situation doesn't meet your expectations that you built in your mind. And the problem with that is there's so many variables that you don't control, right? In your expectation. Because what an expectation is it's a single-sided contract that you're going to act the way I want you to act. Yeah. That's what an expectation is, right? But you don't know. You didn't agree to act that way.
Yeah.
You don't know what my expectations are of you unless I voice them. And so I was really thinking about that, and I've started to approach things with just an intention of control the controllables. And I'm the only thing that I can control. I can't control the environment. I can't control the people in the environment, the weather, the fucking anything about it, right? Mm-hmm. But I can control how I show up in this interaction. Yeah. And so it goes along like with this type of thing, like what you're talking about for your drumline audition would be like, okay, I intend to show up with this amount of energy, with this amount of knowledge, practice, skills, abilities. I'm not expecting any outcome, but I'm going to show up and I'm going to just do my best. Yeah. And no matter what happens at the end of the day, I know that I left it on the table and that I showed up the way that I wanted to show up in my intentions. Yeah. And at the end of the interaction, whatever it is, if you can look back on it and objectively say, okay, yes, I did what I intended to do. I showed up that way. Mm-hmm. Good job, buddy. Yeah. You did good. Yeah. No matter what happens, you did good, and it was still it can still be a positive thing devoid of outcome. Or you can objectively say, oh shit, like I said I was going to have energy. I said I was going to be, fucking smiley and outgoing or whatever it was. But really I didn't do that. Like my behavior showed that I didn't do that. How can I do better in the future to actually do what I say I am intending to do? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think that that's building that stack of proof that you are who you say you are, is like building that muscle to objectively look at your actions and say, was this what I intended? Yeah. Did I actually do what I said I was going to do? And then keeping those for yourself, those little, good job, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that just, it helps ease a lot of pain and suffering in life when you can walk away from some shitty interactions and know that it wasn't your fault. Right. Right. And not ruminate on, oh, what did I say? Oh, I said this. Da, da, da. What did he say? And then you're like stuck in that cycle of, fucking just getting down on yourself. Yeah. And overanalyzing, overthinking the whole situation.
And one thing I read, and this can't apply to every situation, especially when you can't control the expectations out of it. But one thing I did read was that unspoken expectations lead to premeditated resentment.
That's a Williamson bumper sticker right there.
And that is something that
he got it from...
Wow.
Where did he pull it from? The guy that wrote the game, the book. Anyways.
Wrote the book is called The Game?
The Game?
No.
Do you know what that book is?
No.
It's Pickup Artist Movement. You remember that? Okay. Back in the day?
Yeah.
About like negging girls and stuff like that.
Okay, no shit.
You know what that is?
No.
So there was like a whole subculture of men. This would have been like in the 2010s. Yeah. I think when this book came out. Neil Strauss, that's his name. Okay. He's the author. He wrote a book called The Game. And it's about this pickup artist movement. And it's about a bunch of incel dudes that don't know how to get laid, talk to women. Yeah. And the tactics
they don't already know the game.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're teaching them the game, but it's fucking toxic shit. You're supposed to the underlying message is you're supposed to keep women insecure about themselves in life. Oh. And how you do that is by playing this game of manipulation, where you always remind them that you are better than them effectively. And you use subtle manipulation tactics like neuro-linguistic programming and things like that. And it's fucked up. Oh. It's fucked up.
Yeah, that can.
I remember my
that can be dangerous.
Exposure for this. My older brother fucking told me he was getting into this stuff.
Did he read the book?
He read the book. He sent me the book, I think.
Okay.
And I was like 16 at the time. Nah, maybe a little bit older. Maybe 18 and 20 somewhere.
Yeah.
There. And he was like, dude, I'm getting so much pussy.
Oh, it was working for him.
Yeah, he was doing it.
No shit.
Yeah, man, he was doing it. And it's fucking disgusting. And we've had conversations now later in life, and he's like, that was so gross. Like, he regrets it
Was
so
he just
much.
pounding pussy left and right?
I don't know.
Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? If you have to tell a woman that she's ugly in order for you to try to fuck her, like that, who knows
Yeah,
what's
that's
actually
bad.
happening, right?
That's bad behavior for both parties, for the man and the woman.
Yeah, 100%. But like, anyways, it's just the whole premise behind the movement was fucking shit. So I remember when I got this book, I read like the first chapter and was like, this is fucking terrible. Like, I'm never gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I never finished it. Okay. But it was like, it was a buoy for men that didn't have mentors in their life.
Okay.
They had no one to show them what being a proper, strong, encouraging man is like.
Yeah.
Like a protector.
Right.
Like it taught them how to be predators rather than protectors.
Okay.
And that, I feel like, is the major challenge in our society right now in the conversation of masculinity, is for some reason I feel like we had a large generation that was without positive role models teaching them that the most important, in my opinion, the most important and crucial function of a man in society is to protect.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what, like in any situation, anybody who's around you, like, you're going to do your best to protect them from something. Because you can. Because you can.
Yeah.
For no other reason other than you can.
Yeah.
So you should.
Right.
And what happened was they got so frustrated with not getting with not having their expectations of the world met, right?
Okay.
Because they're fucking men. I'm supposed to be running this place.
Yeah.
And I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting pussy. I'm not getting, accolade, status, all this shit. So how do I get this? And it took these frustrated people and it turned them into predators rather than protectors.
Do you think they were not hip to the idea of being a protector then?
They just didn't, they didn't know.
Okay.
They didn't have any guidance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the thing, is they didn't have any mentors. They didn't have any guides in their life that were positive role models that were showing them, hey, no, we're not, that's shitty behavior. You don't treat people like that. This is how you treat people. Right. And they didn't have that in their life. And then they found this book, or this culture, this community that embraced them and their insecurities about the world, and then reinforced them with negative behavior.
Do you think the role of protection has some underlying notes of being a dominancy or
Of course. Yeah.
Because it's actually a great compliment that you can receive from women, and I've only received this like deep into relationships and very few times. I think only once, actually, and that was today. Actually, I sent a picture to my fiance, and it was like, "Hey, you look real hot in this picture. I like it."
She said that to you?
I said that to her. I was like, because I was looking through some of the photos, the engagement photos. Yeah. It's like, "You look really hot in this," and then her response was, she's like, "Yeah, I like it too, but I like it because it feels like you're protecting me in this picture, or this example of us showing ourselves to the world and to the public." And it's a great compliment to receive. I also see some like dominant aspects into being a protector, but without the toxic masculinity in it, because it's like I'm protecting you, and so I have to be a little bit dominant over this scenario, but I'm also going to allow you to do you, to make your own decisions, to be the woman that you are, to allow you to blossom in whatever way that you want to. And I'm not going to force you to go a certain direction one way or the other. but I will be dominant in the sense that I will protect you physically, I will protect you emotionally, I will be there for you, I will be your like lighthouse. I'm the guy for you to go to, and whatever you need. And that's where I think that protection idea comes into play. And that's what women appreciate, especially deep into a relationship. Superficially, like in the beginning stages, they don't need that because that's their independence is so high through the roof. They don't want that. But as they submit a little bit more,
I would disagree with that. I would challenge you on that.
Okay.
I think women have an innate sense to when they approach a man, they know whether or not he's a protector.
Yeah, I agree.
And so therefore, they may not tell you that until deeper into the relationship, but they know.
Right.
I think that building that space of safety for her to be herself is the most mature form of masculinity. When you can provide a safe space for people to be themselves in.
Yeah.
And without judgment, without, anything, whatever, control, whatever, but just like, hey, I got your back. I'm going to do my best to fucking, you do your thing in here. Like, this is our space. Yeah. This is your space, and I got you.
I think I've got a good story, and it's not that, I don't want to say it's that bad, but because it's not. But this is in terms of the protector and predator type thing. But during my single era of life and everything, you're going on dating apps and going on dates, right? And this was a typical
Your hot boy summer.
Huh?
Your hot boy summer.
Yeah. When I was self-discovery is what I like to call it. But going on dates and stuff, and this was kind of like a catfish scenario a little bit. This girl had posted pictures on her profile, and I was like, yeah, she can, she's cute and everything, meets my like standards and stuff, and which, however they are. And we meet at a bar, and I'm there and she's there. And when she comes in, first of all, she doesn't look like her profile pictures. She was just a little bit bigger than what their profile picture showed. And you can tell that there was this obvious discrepancy in the level of game that I'm playing at and the level of game that she's playing at. But where the difference was, and because I could also tell by her body language of like when she walked in, she was like, oh my God, I'm on a date with this guy. Yeah. And I'm nobody special, but I'm also not a bum. Like I've got.
There it was again.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's the black and white in me.
Okay, but why do you have to self-deprecate?
It's not self.
It is self-deprecation.
No, it keeps me humble.
Okay, fine, but why can't you be humble and still compliment yourself and leave it at just complimenting yourself?
All right, I'm a good-looking guy.
Yeah, dude, fuck yeah. I mean, you are, bro. You fucking are a good-looking dude.
I'm not gay, but I know what an alligator looks like. So,
like, fucking, you don't have to put yourself down within the same. Okay. Like, that could be something.
To finish the story.
Yeah, right.
I'm
very passionate about my boys feeling good about themselves.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So I'm a good-looking dude who does what I do, and she is probably not used to going out on dates with guys like me or who I am and the energy that I have. And I could tell by her body language, excuse me, that she was like physically and psychologically overwhelmed that she was here on this date with me. And we got our drinks and we sat down and she was just like, hey, I'm just sorry. I'm just kind of like nervous and stuff. And I told her, I was like, hey, you don't have to worry about anything. It's just me and you here. Like, we don't know anybody else here. And you and I are meeting each other for the first time. We texted and stuff like that. And that's cool. I was like, but let's just have fun. It's just us two here. There's no like crazy expectations of us or anything. So it was just, and we did. We had a great time. So, and I thought that I made her feel protected. I didn't do what some of like these assholes out there might do. Just be like, oh, I'm not fucking this chick tonight, so I'm out. I'm gone. Right. And so I was like, no, I'm here to have a fun time. This, who knows? This could blossom into some crazy, like, just friendship, or yeah, I didn't think it was gonna blossom into like love or
Well, devoid of
anything.
expectations, you wanted her to know that she was safe. You noticed in her that due to her behavior was uncomfortable, unsafe. She felt nervous, anxious, whatever, and you went out of your way to say, "Hey, you're safe here. You're good here.
Right.
Like you can breathe."
Yeah, I was like, hey,
You know?
it's okay.
And that's, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, good for you
It
for
was
fucking
cool.
doing that.
Yeah, it was a cool
That's
moment.
really cool. That's something that you should really be proud
And I
of.
can tell that she relaxed.
Yeah.
After that, she was like, oh, all right. Yeah, cool. And we had some good conversation. We went into depth about some stuff. So it was sweet. But yeah, understanding the game, I didn't. In terms of women, I didn't understand the game until I got a little bit older and saw more success with creating relationships and connections and stuff. And then that's when I started to understand the game, and not in the predatory part of the book that you were talking about, but in more of creating connection and relationships and finding out what the unspoken expectations of this is from both myself and from her. It was like figuring that out. I figured it out in the end, and I mean, I'm extremely happy where I am right now.
I think the pinnacle of the game is just understanding human dynamics.
Yeah.
And within the context of gender and power and things like that. Like, that's all it really is. It's just, it's zooming out as far as you can to see like what's actually going on.
Right.
And who's providing what role and why, biologically, psychologically, you know, and then just playing your part, you know, in a safe way.
Yeah.
And that's it. But the flow of masculine and feminine energy is something that I've become like really fascinated by, particularly because I noticed that I can tap into my feminine energy, and when I'm with women, and so this has been a change for me post my sex addiction days. This has been something that I've now been really focused on in this season of my life, which is, okay, before, all women were women that I wanted to have sex with. It's either I want to have sex with you or I don't want to have sex with you. If I don't want to have sex with you, then I really don't have time for you. I don't want to talk to you at all, basically. But now I'm in this stage where it's like, well, no, it's not black and white. It's women are human beings. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to figure out how to be friends with women, I suppose, because I think that's really valuable. As I look back at my life, I met so many cool chicks that, like, yeah, maybe I didn't want to have sex with them, but like, we could have been friends, and that would have been cool. And so now it's like, I'm trying to fucking figure that out, and the way I'm seeing myself do it is tapping into my feminine energy while also using my masculine presence to make them feel safe, but to speak to them in to have a feminine conversation, if that makes sense. So you still have like the masculine aura, but you can use a feminine flow, if that makes sense. And the feedback that I've gotten from this is, and I've been testing it here in Austin. I've had one woman tell me that I have a very balanced energy. I was like, okay. And she even called out. She says, you have a very balanced energy of masculine and feminine energy. And I was like, thank you. She goes, does that resonate with you? I said, yeah, I've been actively working on that. Like, she's like, oh, shit, okay.
Nice.
And then I had another woman tell me that I have a very just like safe and easy energy. And she's like, it's just very easy. Like, I don't have to worry. Like, I don't feel afraid in any sense. Like, but also like, I can tell that you're not gay.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
she's like, and so she's like, you just have a very nice, easy energy. And I'm like, thanks. And then this is all like I use as like little cards to put in my pocket of when I'm like feeling down on myself in the future of like, no, fuck that. Like, you got a good flow to you, dude. You got good energy. You got good vibes, you know?
There's some dudes who don't even want to tap in to that feminine energy because they view it as like gay or not masculine, which like certainly it's the opposite of masculinity. But there's some dudes I know that won't do yoga because they don't like downward dog.
Yeah, my butt's exposed.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, dude, you're not. What do you think I'm gonna do? Try to fuck you like while we're doing yoga? That's not. Just do the goddamn pose, man. This is it's for your body.
It's good for you.
And same thing with like dudes. If you sleep in the same bed, you gotta like put up a wall of pillows. You know, you're like, how about let's just not fuck each other?
Well, that's black and white thinking. It's black and white thinking at its core. It's okay. If I'm feminine in any way, it draws from my masculine, right? Gray thinking or whatever is I can be both at the same time. You can have both, and they can both be full. You can be as masculine as they come. You can be as feminine as they come. They can coexist. And yeah, guys, it's always funny to see dudes.
They have a tough time accessing that.
Yeah.
I know some dudes who can't piss next to each other.
Yeah.
Can't use the same urinal next to each other because they think it's like gay.
Right.
And it's some psychological thing that they just can't get over.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude.
Yeah.
It's all right, man.
Or going back to the conversation we were having earlier about complimenting people. Like, say you wanted to compliment somebody's outfit or whatever.
Yes.
For so long, was there a caveat that you would add to it before a compliment?
Yeah, you would always say like, I don't, I'm not gay or nothing, but nice.
No
shirt.
homo.
Yeah,
no homo, but
no
nice
homo.
shirt.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you always had to give that little.
Yeah.
But why?
Right. You don't have to tell me you're not gay.
Why?
I know you're not gay.
Exactly. Right.
I'll compliment guys a lot on their haircuts. Like if I notice, I'm like, dude, nice haircut.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah. Fucking tough being a man in these times.
Yeah, it's easy and hard to be a man because we certainly have a lot of benefits over, let's just say, women or potentially other men. But what men don't talk about are the hard things of what it's like being a man. We don't talk that. We just suppress it and then move on and just accept the rewards that come, but like all the bad things we don't talk about. And then hopefully, there is a movement with like better mental health and stuff. Like for a dude to say he's depressed or anxious, you're like, that's fucking weak. And you're like, well, no, it's not, because like a lot of people experience those emotions, and so let somebody experience that and work through it in whatever way. If they need help, like help them, and also be open to admitting that. Yeah, you might be feeling that way. Like just kind of say something and
Well, that goes back to our previous conversation of asking for help.
Right.
When you need a guide, when you need help, when you need something like that, how do you get yourself through that feeling of discomfort and self-conscious and lack to say, fuck, I actually need help right now.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. I've found that my success in terms of complimenting and then maybe receiving feedback or for people being willing to help is to be the opener.
Yeah, lead by example.
So I'm the one who like opens with a compliment or, hey, I see you're not doing well, or like, do you need help with something? How you doing? Where you at mentally? Like if I open with that, then somewhere down the road, I'll get some sort of reciprocation. Maybe because mentally they know that like I started it off,
Or maybe you won't.
or maybe I won't, but I don't care if I do or not.
Yeah, and that's like
I still just I want to do the right thing. But I've noticed that that's where I've gotten it. Reciprocal feedback is
Exactly.
by being the opener.
Exactly.
I'm the one who starts it off.
And again, that's being a protector.
Yeah.
Even of other men.
Yes.
And it's like, hey, it's setting the tone that this is a safe space.
Yeah.
This is a space where we can talk, we can be
Right.
homies, we can be human beings, like, and I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make fun of you. I'm not going to make you feel weak or less than because you're having a tough time.
Right. Right.
And that's, again, the pinnacle of fucking healthy masculinity.
Yeah.
when you can be that buoy, that safe space for everybody, anybody,
Yeah.
to just come and, hey man, I'm having a problem, you know, and then you actually genuinely care and you have compassion and you help them through that problem.
Yeah.
You know, in any way that you can.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just holding space.
Right.
You know. That's my tactic as well, as I try to lead by example and put that vulnerability out first. That line of, you know, something. Just to let people know that.
Yeah.
Hey,
leading from the front.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, shit, man.
It's been great,
I
dude.
think we did it.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
This has been fucking amazing. We talked about a lot of shit. We talked about a lot of good, meaningful topics that I think the world is dealing with right now.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that, thank you for being vulnerable here with me today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And for sharing this and for, you know, giving everybody a peek through your journey, through your lens, and for being the fucking strong masculine man that you are, man.
Yeah.
I love you and I appreciate you.
I love you too, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Man.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking let's get in here, big dog. Love you, man. I love you, brother.